When faced with impossible odds, some people find a way to survive against all logic. It's a primal instinct, a fire that burns deep within the human spirit. I've seen it myself, out in the wild when everything you know is stripped away, and you're left with nothing but your own grit and determination. It's in these moments when your back is against the wall that you discover what you're truly made of. The will to live can push the body and mind to limits you never thought possible, turning ordinary people into legends of survival. These stories aren't just about enduring hardship, they're about the incredible power of human resilience. They show us that even in the darkest of times, when hope seems like a distant memory, there's a strength inside us that can conquer the impossible. It's a testament to our ability to adapt, to innovate, to fight for every last breath. These are the moments that define us, that carve our stories into the very rock of history. They remind us that survival is more than just staying alive, it's about refusing to give up. Here are the top 5 most extreme survival stories you won't believe. In the remote canyons of Utah, outdoorsman Aaron Ralston was on a solo trip when a half-ton boulder fell, pinning his right arm. For 5 days, he battled dehydration and despair. Realizing the rock wouldn't move, he made a horrific choice. He broke his own arm bones, then used his dull multi-tool to amputate his arm. Finally free, he rappelled 65 feet and hiked for miles before being found. Aaron Ralston proved that to save your life you might have to sacrifice a part of yourself. On Christmas Eve, 1971, a plane over the Peruvian Amazon was struck by lightning and disintegrated, plummeting 2 miles into the jungle. 17-year-old Julianne Kupke was the sole survivor. She awoke alone with a broken collarbone. But she had a secret weapon, her father's advice to find water and follow it downstream. For 10 agonizing days she walked with no food, her wounds infested with maggots. Finally she was found by local lumbermen, a ghost-like girl who had walked out of the green hell. The open ocean is a vast, empty wilderness. There's nowhere to hide. For sailor Stephen Callahan, this wilderness became his prison. In 1982, his small vessel was struck in the night, probably a whale. The boat sank rapidly. He had moments to inflate his 6-foot raft and grab his emergency kit. He watched his boat disappear beneath the waves. He was left alone, adrift in the immense Atlantic. His world was a tiny rubber disc, tossed by relentless waves. He had a small supply of food and water, but it wouldn't last long. Survival became a full-time job, a battle against the elements and despair. He had to become a hunter-gatherer of the sea. He fashioned a makeshift spear gun. He learned to hunt dorado, he learned to hunt triggerfish. He invented a solar still to desalinate seawater. It produced just a few precious ounces of fresh water each day. It was a brutal, repetitive existence. The psychological toll was immense. The loneliness is a physical presence out there. You start to lose your grip on reality. He battled constant saltwater sores. He battled dehydration. He battled sharks circling his fragile home. His raft began to fail. He spent hours patching leaks, fighting to keep it afloat. He was a modern-day castaway. His companions, the fish he hunted, his companions, the stars he navigated by. He drifted over 1,800 nautical miles. After 76 days, his ordeal ended. Fishermen spotted him off Marie Galante near Guadeloupe. He'd lost a third of his body weight and was covered in sores, but alive. He hadn't just survived, he had mastered his environment. He used ingenuity, he used resilience. He used an unbreakable will to cross an entire ocean in a leaking rubber raft. His story is a lesson in how humans adapt and innovate at the edge of endurance. In May 1996, a violent storm on Everest trapped several expeditions, becoming one of its deadliest days. Among them was Beck Weathers. Struck by snowblindness and lost in the blizzard, he succumbed to the cold. Deemed unresponsive, rescuers left him for dead in the death zone. But hours later, Beck miraculously woke up. A vision of his family pulled him back. He staggered back to camp, a ghost-like figure horrifying his fellow climbers. Beck Weathers had walked back from the dead. In 1704, Scottish sailor Alexander Selkirk demanded to be put ashore on a remote Pacific island after a fierce argument. He expected a quick rescue but was stranded for over 4 years. Initially driven to despair by loneliness, he was forced inland to adapt or die. He hunted goats by running them down, fashioned clothes from their skins, and tamed wild cats to fight off rats. When finally rescued, his rescuers found a wild man in goatskins who had nearly forgotten how to speak. Selkirk's incredible story of survival became the real-life inspiration for the novel, Robinson Crusoe. From the desolate canyons of Utah to the unforgiving peaks of Everest, these stories are more than just tales of endurance. They are profound testaments to the unbreakable human spirit. Aron Ralston, Julianne Kepke, Stephen Callahan Beck-Weathers, Alexander Selkirk, they all faced their own personal hell. They were pushed to the absolute limits of human suffering, both physical and mental. Yet in those darkest moments, they found a strength they never knew they possessed. They chose to fight, they chose to live. Survival isn't just skills or gear, it's mindset. The will to take one more step, to endure one more hour, to fight for one more breath. Finding hope when there's none, making a tool from scraps, seeing your family's image and using it to walk back from the grave. These survivors show us an incredible reservoir of resilience within us all. They inspire us, they shock us, they teach us. They prove the will to live can triumph over anything. Which story shocked you most? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe for more unbelievable true stories. Remember, the human spirit is unbreakable. These stories prove that when everything seems lost, there's always a way to survive.